I got her when she was 2, and I did the breaking because we usually don't start until about 3 or older 2. So anyway, she kind of came to me as a problem horse. I call her kind of my gateway woods horse. So she just needed a lot of instruction. She was basically, she didn't want to trust people. She didn't want to let love come into her life, and she'd just been kind of tossed around. And so she needed somebody steady and somebody willing to be patient with her. And actually, I didn't think I was going to be the person because I couldn't get to her. But yet God was also working on me because He couldn't get to me because I didn't believe that He had a plan for me, and I didn't believe that I could trust Him. And I didn't quite believe that He could love me, as I was diagnosed at 18, 19 with rheumatoid disease, which is a disease that basically makes you feel old when you're in a young person's body. Basically your immune system is attacking itself, and basically your joints, anywhere, your heart function, everything, just anywhere there's inflammation in your body can definitely be ruined. So my life was definitely changed at 18, so I really saw a lot of potential dreams breaking. And so anyway, so I got this horse, Missy, and I began working with her, and God began working with me. And so that's kind of the backstory on this horse. Basically, she looks great tonight because she's had a lot of work with me, but she came, basically, if you touched her head, she would bolt back. If you touched her belly, she would kick at you. When I kicked her to make her go, she would buck. All makes for a very bumpy ride. So you probably want to smooth that out. So anyway, so I, thankfully God, basically, she also was very dangerous in the pasture. I should mention this. I did not let anybody go up and see her. And I just had about maybe 10 kids around her all at once tonight. So it's just amazing what God has helped me do with this horse. And so one of the things that I almost gave up, but I prayed. I decided to pray, God, how can I help this horse? So He told me basically just give her a love hug, because every time she would come after me in the pasture, she would literally come after you in the pasture with her teeth bared and ready to bite you or kick you. So I would just come up to her and put my arm around her head and give her a hug, and I would just hold on until she stopped. And that's also what God was trying to teach me, to say, Sandy, I'm going to hold on until you stop, because I love you. And so it actually really worked with Missy, and God's lesson also has really helped me learn that. So that was basically a body language maneuver, as you can. I'm going to try to work that in there with this too. But basically, all I did, I didn't say anything, I didn't do anything, I just held her. And so I appreciate that God can hold us, and when we don't have to say anything, don't have the words to pray, He'll just hold us. So I'm really thankful for God teaching me that. And also, I don't have time to go into a huge backstory. I'd like to do that sometime of my testimony for God, but I want to start with just one story, and then I'll get into our lesson. So hang on, kids. But basically, it's a good body language story. But basically, I had gotten to the point where I needed to find insurance, and I couldn't find insurance. And here I am. I have a disease that's really costs a lot if you go to the hospital and stuff. And I searched, and called Christian organizations, and they wouldn't help me. So I kind of felt like I was an outcast with Christians as well, because nobody wanted to support or sponsor somebody with their insurance who has a pre-existing condition. So that was a pretty low point for me, without getting super crazy and detailed into it. But basically I began to question my existence and whether I really wanted to be living. And so I remember really struggling with I don't know if I can say this, but it starts with Sue and ends in side. But I was really struggling with that, and this was probably one of the most desperate times I was for God, and I just was like, God, I'm an outcast with Christians. I feel like an outcast with not being able to have any strength at a young age. I just don't know how anything good can come of this, and so I really went into lots of darkness there, and basically what God used to pull me out was some body language, and I remember thinking about it, and I remember thinking that I went through with it, and I ended my life, and I woke up, and God was in His throne room, and it was just God. It was just Him, and I was like, okay, Jesus at least stood up for Stephen, and like it was just a really scary thing for me to just have God in His throne room, and just His head was down, and his hands were kind of just in His face, so I couldn't see God, but I noticed He was crying, and I was like, great, I just made God cry, and I didn't say anything because I had a lot of excuses of why I was going to do it, and I didn't come up with any excuses. Then I just was like, oh great, I made God cry, and so I let Him talk, and what He said was, didn't you know that I had a plan for you? So that really made me change my way of thinking, to have God answer me in such a powerful way. And I didn't realize that God could love somebody as broken and weak and as unhealthy in the joints as I was. And so I started to clean up and try to, and my family helped. But anyway, so basically, you have two messages here tonight, but they're God's message, and He can use us. So I just really want to encourage anybody that's feeling broken or weak tonight, or just useless, that you're always usable to God, and just get with Him, and get on your face with Him, and ask Him to help you, because He will. And He's never let me down as far as when I get super desperate for Him. So anyway, it also, just be encouraged if you think that maybe I don't know, you're just maybe not on fire anymore for God. Just be encouraged that He will spark that fire again, and sometimes He has to use bad things to get our attention. So sorry, it's going in and out. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start, and but anyway, so okay, so I'm just gonna talk really loud because I'm gonna not be stationary tonight. But anyway, so body language for horses. I'm actually using body language when I ride. So obviously, when you ride a horse, you need to use your legs to
Their front side, which is their front legs, and also their back legs, because you don't want them sad.
All right, next twin.
Next twin. Come on. Sophia.
Chica's good. Good guy.
Just do sad. It's like sad. I'm happy. I'm mad. I'm sick. I'm bored. What did you do? I don't care what you did. Look over here. You're so good.
Anybody want to go over here? Des?
Do you want to go up and volunteer?
Sure.
You want to come up? Yeah, good job. Who else wanted to go?
Sandy. Oh.
She's so cute. You gotta stop getting stuff in your hair. You wanna go grab the hairbrush? Really got the hairbrush.
Yes, that's fine.
All right, who else have I got? How about you in the stripes there? Stars and stripes.
Your brother's going there. He's inside. I know I used to see him in church, but I never did anymore.
You want to come? All right, come on up.
Not until you leave the horses. If you stand behind them, my right hand on the top. Audrey got it.
That wasn't my fault.
Yeah, but it's going to be your fault. That was not good job.
Then stop telling me what to do. I'm trying to figure stuff out by myself. I don't need some person to tell me everything.
Yes,
Can someone teach me how to floss? Yes, my
She's lame, so. Oh, she's lame. Or hurt. Yep. Good job. Thank you. Yeah. Does he like to? Who likes to smile? Pretty happy horse. Okay. Let's see. Who else wants to go that hasn't gone? Anybody else? Lucy, come here.
Happy's had that question.
sure. Hey, Dave. Hey, can I use that?
Let's do both plus 2 or plus 5. And I can get picked somewhere too.
Really?
But
Yeah, that's all. I knew it. Can I use that brush for you?
I got it now.
You did? From what?
When I was in college. I used to got
Good job. Right.
Surprise would be like this. Snap it.
Anyway, so
Rolika, after you
I think I
can
ran out, so anyway, I mean I could come up with them on the spot again. Anyway, thanks kids for helping me out. So anyway, get back on. referred to as like a window to how our heart is inside, right? So, I remember somebody saying they went to a cashier clerk and you know, she was just really wondering, like, you know, if anybody ever saw her, because everybody goes in but their head is down, there's no eye contact, she didn't even smile at, she never said how are you doing, and so she just kind of felt like she wasn't even a person. And anyway, I can sometimes be like that with people too that I don't know. And so it was kind of convicting to me, because I didn't realize how important body language is to our Christian walk, and what we're doing with it can really affect others, and kind of make them either feel loved and appreciated, or whether they feel like rejected, or they're nothing, even if, you know, they're working hard behind a cashier's desk the whole day, and don't even get anybody to smile at them. So anyway, so basically our body language says a lot. And I remember in you know, basically when Jesus was preaching, he was always kind of known for accepting everybody, and just anybody. Like, I just remember him touching lepers, and that was just something you didn't do, and touching dead people, and people just were really weirded out by his body language, you know. And yet body language, I feel like, was important to Jesus as well. And I remember also Peter, when he denied Jesus. Do you know what Jesus did when Peter denied him? When the cop did the whole thing 3 times? What happened? What did Jesus do? Anybody? Yeah. He looked at Peter, and there was enough. Peter's heart was crushed. It was broken, because he had just denied his God. And sometimes it's enough. That's how, what I'm saying is the impact of body language. It's enough to get a horse to do amazing things. It's enough to make somebody stay at a cashier or a restaurant or wherever you're going. It's enough to, you know, tell a person you're loved, needed, you're wanted. So body language is very important. I heard in a song, we're waiting for the plane.
You guys maybe should go sit down now because it's getting kind of loud up here. It's already hard.
Anyway, body language is really interesting. I heard in a song that Jesus lived with his arms wide open. Also, he died with his arms wide open. And so that was that's a huge body language to me, because he died for everybody. And generally, you know, when you see somebody like this, that's like, to me, like, come on, give me a hug, you know. And so, anyway, or I accept you, right? Because you're exposing me. And so when Jesus was on the cross,
Girls, let's go sit down now, okay?
exposing his
Go sit
whole
down
body
now.
for us. And
No,
so
over on your blanket.
it's interesting that he lived with his arms
Time
open
to
wide.
let the pony be for a little bit and listen to Sandy talk, okay?
So, do I have time for some more?
Girls, can you go sit down now and listen to Sandy talk, please?
So basically, I'm just gonna. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys just one more story, because it fits in pretty well with the body language. problem with feeling like they slack or are not